Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Tim Brown, and I'm on with Gregg Schonhorn today from SFMP Advisors. I'm going to add him in here. We're talking about increasing valuation, and I actually asked a very specific question, which is how would you increase your valuation from, let's say, 5x to 10x? So I know that you've done a lot of deals, and I was curious to pick your brain on this. If somebody gave you a valuation of 5x, how could we increase it?
Great question. Hey, Tim, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. SFP Advisors. So we've done 407 transactions worth $3.4 billion. So we've got a ton of deal experience. We've been around since January 2001. I will just tell everybody it's pretty simple stuff, right? How well do you know your numbers? If you're a big enough business, at some point, you need a scorekeeper, right? We're at the time of the year. You and I have talked about this before. I talk about this with all my clients. By September 15th to 18th, I need to see August numbers. I need to understand where your cost of goods sold is, your gross profit on reverse of that, total expenses in your business. As a business owner, you should know your KPIs. You should understand what your balance sheet looks like, your P&L sheets, what they look like. If you are not budgeting and forecasting, how could you sell your business on a growth multiple, Tim, if you don't even know where your business is headed, right? So you might be a 6x, 7, 8x business. Hey, I grow 10% year over year. Great. Do you have a budget for this year? Have you hit it? If by Turkey Day you don't have a budget for 2025, I don't know if you know exactly what you're doing. Hey, I understand if you're a $1 or $2 million business and you don't quite have a mastered budget for the next year, that's okay. But you should at least have an idea. How many phone calls did I have last year? What did my conversion look like on them? How can I improve the KPIs that I do know within my business? But how do you want to grow your growth multiple? You better have a scorekeeper in your business. You should have a budget moving forward, and you should have a forecast, and you should understand every single day, every week, every month, are we moving towards that target?
And I'll just say this. One thing I like about SFMP Advisors, it's sfpadvisors.com, is that they're not actually a private equity company. So a lot of people that are in your inbox that are kind of badgering you, throwing out really high possible multiples. They're kind of like the guys like, marketing guys that are like, would you like 15 to 17 more leads a month? Like right now? And they're like, they get you to respond, right, with these big numbers or throwing things out. So this is different because these guys advise people and they've done big deals with a lot of people that you would recognize. Can you just give a couple of those real quick so people can understand where you're coming from?
Your third podcast, everybody knows Ken Goodrich. We did Gettle's deal. Everybody seems to know Ish. He was on, might have been your second to last. We did Next Gen's deal as well. Any Hour, we did their deal. For the people in the Northeast, Isaac Family, we did their deal. Best in Florida, we did their deal. Cool Ray, which turned into Wrench Group, we did their deal. You can go to our website at sfpadvisors.com, take a look at our 407 transactions. While those are the bellwethers, right? Those are what make us famous. I got to tell you, the bulk, Tim, of what we do on a normal transaction day-to-day basis, kind of in that, let's call it 850 EBITDA to 2 million EBITDA range. It really is the bulk of what we do. I'm going to call a little shade. You and I talked about this. Somebody had posted the other day that, PE doesn't want to see deals under $1.5 million EBITDA. I'll just say we just closed a deal. Can't say the exact number. It might have been 12x, might have been 13, might have been 14x. The EBITDA was just barely under $1 million. And that was a deal where I think we got a pretty amazing result for our client.
So give me how you guys did that. What would you advise to since you guys are advisors, not a private equity firm? By the way, I love that. I love that you're not a private, because I would feel a little weird if I had like a private equity sponsor or something like that. I have nothing of the sort. I have people that could guide you through that somewhat difficult and heart-wrenching, I'm sure, process. So to increase valuation, you advise, sometimes you guys start fairly early in the process with people versus like a private equity company is kind of come in when you're ready, like right now when you're ready. But if you're advising early in the process and they're at that, let's say 6x multiple, things that could bump it up. Let's bump it up besides knowing your numbers. Because what if their numbers are just, they currently justify a 6x? What does that look like first? What does a 6x look like on average?
You got to be a pretty cruddy business to only get 6x.
Really?
Sorry for saying that. If it's all residential. Now, if we're talking mechanical or construction or some other stuff that might not be what we'll call residential, it's pretty hard to not be a 7, 8, 9x kind of business with a good, clean business mix. That being said, so when we take a look at businesses, trailing 12 months plus your growth multiple of where you're headed really makes a difference. So you and I were talking earlier, I've got somebody that we're working with who had a 3-month window where they were negative. Well, we don't want to sell that business till that 3-month window gets out of their trailing 12 months, which means right now we're 5-6 months from even being able to sell that business. Because why would you take a negative in your business and sell off a multiple when 0 is better than negative? Does that make a little bit of sense to you, Tim?
Absolutely. Can you give a couple, like, let's give them 3 things to increase from 6 to 10. If they were cruddy, they didn't know their numbers, but like, all right, you got I think you said fractional CFO was one, or
Sure.
something that's
Depending on business size, I truly believe every business at some point needs a scorekeeper. If you're a 5, 8, $10 million business and you don't have somebody in your business, or could be a fractional CFO that's outside your business, that is really budgeting, really forecasting for you, you're making a mistake in your business. There are professionals that do it that should be doing it. Properly layering in management, something else. You don't want to layer in management too early, and you don't want to layer in too much management at any period of time. Everything should have a thought, everything should have a process. We talked about this earlier. If I'm hiring somebody, I don't care what position, they have a job scorecard. It's going to be description of what their position at the company is. It's going to have their salary. It's going to have their bonus levels. It's going to have their start date. And then it's going to have all of their KPIs. They will have to initial every single KPI in their business. The systems, the processes, all these things are what buyers are going to look at. Somebody's like, hey, I'm thinking of making a purchase. My response is always awesome. It's a great thing, because if you can prove out that you have the systems and you have the processes, that your business works to scale, it can only help you when you look to go to sell.
Okay. If people had those things that you're saying, should they probably be getting a 10x or more multiple, or what else would get us there?
So it depends on the trade. Since we're talking HVAC, plumbing, and electric, yes.
By the way, this is live on the roofing side too.
Right. But roofing is hotter than HVAC, plumbing, and electric. It's moving faster. It's a hotter market right now, and multiples are in the 7, they're in the 11, they're in the 12, they're in the 10 range. Again, it goes back to location, location, location. What's your business mix? As a roofer, are you door knocking? What does that look like? How much? There's probably going to be a decent amount of insurance business within your business. It really is customer concentration. How much commercial in your roofing business? There's so much that goes into.
Do you guys like commercial and roofing businesses? Or is that like a lower multiple?
It's getting more and more popular, whether it's roofing, whether it's HVAC. So we recently closed ABC in Chicago, large mechanical. We did in Nashville. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm mind blanking. These guys are gonna kill me. But we've had a couple of mechanical contractors that we've closed. We're getting more and more phone calls from mechanical contractors that are looking to sell their business because they hear the multiples, see the multiples. It is lower, but depending on business mix and concentration, there's still a great exit to be taking place.
Yeah, commercial roofing is I see some amazing operators over there for like, so I would hope they get a pretty good multiple on that. But I definitely understand, because like, just like we were talking about with builders, if you have lower concentration, like I think with private equity, I'm thinking about like, we've always said we don't want any one client to be more than 10 or 15% of our revenue. And I think with commercial, you could have a developer, you could have a property management company that is like 20% of your revenue. It's a little bit
terrible.
There's a little bit of a weakness there.
Yep. You want it at 5% or less, right? Ultimately, you don't want, 4 large commercial companies to be responsible for 30, 40, 50% of your business. You will be challenged to get a higher multiple versus thousands of clients that you're working with.
That being said, maybe you're cool with that because it's a higher number. Because like, it's crazy how big, like seeing some $1 million roofs recently, $1 million exterior projects, multifamily. It's kind of cool. I just got to be up on a $1.5 million job and carry some shingles around. And yeah, so I really appreciate it. Could you give your contact information? We'll also pop your Calendly in the comments. I really appreciate, by the way, I appreciate what you guys are doing for the industry. And I appreciate what you guys are doing, helping guide business owners so that they don't get a bad deal on their company.
Yeah, we're automatically aligned. SF&P only works on a success fee. We've been around for 24 years. We love doing free evaluations to figure out where you are today, where you could be in the future. The easiest way to get a hold of me, my cell phone, 973-919-5509. You can send me an email, Gregg, Gregg, at sfpadvisors.com. And please do me a favor. You can always go to our website, sfpadvisors.com. Take a look at our deal history, meet the team. Feel free to book a call through there if that's easiest for you. But happy to put a free evaluation, happy to better understand your business, and happy to show you where your future could potentially be as an exit.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. SFNP Advisors. Appreciate you guys' partnership with us. And thank you, everyone, for taking a second to watch this. I hope you get a great deal if you are selling your company, and talk to Gregg. All right. See you, everyone.